Hello everyone, welcome to Puzzle League. Today, we will see the classic Sudoku puzzle. I'll be going over the rules as well as a few examples to help you get familiar with the puzzle. Also, please excuse the Korean writing in the on-screen book. We are working to publish English versions of Puzzle League soon, but don't worry. In the meantime, essential English translations will be provided on the screen. Alright then, let's begin. So, here are the rules. Each row must contain each number from 1 to 4. Each column must contain each number from 1 to 4. And each block, outlined in bold, must contain each number from 1 to 4. Here, you can see the rows and columns, as well as the 4 blocks. As we saw a moment ago, each row must contain each number from 1 to 4. Here, we want to fill each colored row with the missing number and complete the puzzles. So let's start with this first example here. This first colored row, we can see that it's missing the number 3. So we simply just fill it in with the 3. This second row, we can see that it's missing a number 2. This third row has no missing numbers. And this fourth row is missing a number 4. Now you can see that every single row has every number from 1 to 4. Now, for the second example, we'll do the same thing. The colored row first. We see that it's missing a number 1. Now we'll go up to the first row and see that it's missing a number 4. The second row is missing a number 2. And the fourth row is missing a number 4. For the third example, the colored row is missing a number 1. First row is missing a number 4. The third row is missing a number 3. And the fourth row is missing a number 2. We also need each column to contain each number from 1 to 4. Here, we want to fill each colored column with the missing number and then complete the puzzles. So we'll do the same thing as we just did. Let's take a look at the first column here. We can see that it's missing the number 3. So we fill it in. The second column isn't missing any numbers. The third column is missing a number 4, and the fourth column is missing a number 1. Now we can see that every single column has each of the numbers from 1 to 4. We'll do the same for the second example. The first column is missing a 4, the second is missing a 1, the third is missing a 2, and the fourth column is missing a 3. Similarly, for the third example, the first column is missing a 4, the second column is missing a 3, the third column is missing a 2, and the fourth column is missing a 1. Finally, each block must contain each number from 1 to 4. Let's take a look at this first example. In the first block, we can see that number 2 is missing. And in the fourth block, we can see that the number 4 is missing. So now, every single block has every number from 1 to 4. Let's try these examples here. For the second example, starting with the colored cell, we can see that it's missing a number 2 in this block. The second colored block over here is not missing any numbers, so we don't have to worry about that. The second block here is missing a 2. And the third block here is missing a 3. For the third example, we can see that the first colored block is missing a 3. The colored block over here is missing a 2. This block over here is already filled. And the third block is missing a 4. Alright, now we'll take a look at an example. Let's try example 1 over here. One way to approach the Sudoku puzzle is to look at the row, column, or blocks that have 3 out of the 4 numbers filled. That way you know immediately which number is missing in that row, column, or block. So, for puzzle 1 here, we can see that in the first row, the number 1 is missing, so we can fill it in. Now we see that in the first column here, the number 2 is missing, so we fill that in. Now we see that in the first block here, the number 4 is missing. In the second block here, the number 3 is missing. And in the third block here, the number 1 is missing. That's just one way to do it though. Another way to do it is to look at the row or column. After we fill in the first block here with the number 4, we can see that this row is missing the number 3. So we fill that in. And now we can see that this column is missing the number 1. It doesn't matter which way you do it, you end up with the same answer. Now this fourth block is completely empty. So here is where things get a little bit trickier. Let's take a look at the third column here. We can see that the numbers 2 and 3 already exist. So the numbers 1 and 4 have to go into 2 of these cells here. But which one goes in which cell? Now let's place the number 1 here as an example. If we place the number 1 here in this cell, we can see that in the third row, the number 1 appears twice. Now this breaks the rules, because every number between 1 to 4 can only show up once. So the number 1 does not go here, we know that. The number 1 would go here. And instead, the number 4 would go here. Now, for these last two cells, all we have to do is take a look at the rows. This third row we know is missing a 2, so we fill it in. And this last row is missing a 3, so we fill that in. Now, if you take a look, every row, column, and block has every number from 1 to 4 exactly once. And that's when you know you completed the puzzle. Alright, I hope that wasn't too bad. I want you to try completing the other examples by yourself this time.